All right, so let's talk about tubes. Here we go. Hey, what's up guys? Mendel here. I hope you're all doing awesome and wonderful. So, as some of you probably have heard, Electro Harmonix won't be able to ship out tubes, the whole thing. I'll drop a link in the description box below. Everybody's talking about it, about the global tube shortage for tube amps and I guess like hi-fi phonetics, like those headphone things that also has tubes, which cost like a lot of money. And I'm not gonna complain about this. I just wanna share some thoughts, just turn on the camera. Just gonna talk to the camera, unscripted. Also, if it's your first time here, welcome. My name is Mendel. And please subscribe, that really helps me out. Give me a thumbs up and that belly thing, and drop down a comment because this is a very interesting topic to talk about. Here we go. Let's just start with this. We're guitar players, and I think 90% of us, maybe 95% of us, really like tube amps, like Mesa amps. Like I'm currently working on my Kemper bundle. So I have like the Mesa Mark V over here, the Mesa Rectifier, I have an EV8 Stealth, all tube amps. So everyone's talking about it. There are probably a lot of people like Stay Metal Ray said, a lot of people probably like panic buying tubes. It's almost like the beginning of the pandemic with the toilet paper. Oh my God. I just bought a new set because I don't own any of these amps. I just borrow them, retube some of them. So when I make my Kemper profiles, they're like the best quality I can make. But I have to be honest, it wasn't easy to find the right tubes, and then luckily WD buddy of mine found like the link to these groove tubes, which should be good. But let's talk about the future. So imagine if there were like a lot less tubes or even no tubes. Are we gonna do all solid state amps? And when I was thinking about this a couple days ago, I thought about this thing called the Phil's Cascade. Now, if I'm correct about this, the Phil's Cascade is like an tube unit that does some cool harmonic distortion, and the unit was built specifically for a plugin. And that made me think, like, I don't know, and maybe there is, I haven't done a lot of research about this, but how cool would it be if a company would make like the best sounding amp they could, just make one unit, just one unique unit, and then make the best plugin ever. And then basically everyone could buy that plugin, put their laptop like an interface or through a power amp or something, and they can use it live. I mean, that way you would only need tubes for one amp and everyone can enjoy it. And I think like we guys, because it's mostly men who are like gear obsessed, it's perhaps an ego thing these days that you just want to have the tube or like a real tube amp. So I can honestly say, I made, I think now over 300 Kemper profiles. And I can honestly say the Kemper is like 10 years old this year and it comes so close. It's there at 85%, I think. And with some profiles, I think I could say it's honestly like 95%. And with the Quad Cortex, that's 95% every time, sometimes even 99%. And to be honest, is that 1% important enough to keep buying tube amps? So I know, like I don't think tube amps will be extinct like instantly for companies, but now with the tube shortage, and who knows what will happen in the future, like what are going to be the new things? So we know like Ryan Bruce said, or Fluff Butson, you know the guy. Like he showed that with the Fish 150 Iconic. I believe he said that amp already has fewer tubes than like regular ones, which makes sense because then the amp would be cheaper and stuff, because tubes aren't really, I mean, like for a set of, like I had like the Road King 2 over here a couple weeks ago, and luckily the guy that I bought the amp from had like a full new tube set, so when I made the profiles and the captures it was like fresh condition. But that whole tube set is, I think, almost 600 to 700 euros, which is insane. And what's your opinion about this? Let me know in the comments. Like, do you think like this idea, like just making one amp make it as good as possible, make it like the sickest amp you can get, and you don't have to worry about like making hundreds of them and that kind of stuff. Just one sick, unique boutique amp, and then make the sickest profile, the sickest plugin of it ever, and then everyone can enjoy it, right? I mean, I personally think that especially the past 3 years, plugins have become like insanely good. I've been dialing amps for the past 2-3 months now, like the EV8s, Road King, I had the Ritchie Blackmore, I have the Mark V. And feeling wise, man, I say that a lot of these plugins like Tone Hub plugins, Neural DSP plugins, etc. It's so close that if I would do a blind test and people would like switch AB very quickly, or even especially with the Quad Cortex, like AB very quickly between the real amp and like a capture or a plugin, man, I have to say, I think with my expertise after playing guitar for 20 years, I think I wouldn't be able to tell the difference. Sometimes I could, like I did a fun experiment with my girlfriend, like after the profile capture, like closed my eyes and I was like, okay, yeah, I can definitely feel this is the real amp, this is the camera profile. But that was with the Road King, and I noticed that the Kemper, when high gain Mesa amps, like it's capturing or profiling, it struggles. So that's why with my profiles, it's almost become like a Mendel Kemper bundle profile ad. But I try to dial the gain back so that the Kemper can still capture like the good character, and then rather put like a booster pedal in front of it or use the gain knob to turn it back. Like these little tricks to get the capture right. But back to the topic, like I couldn't feel the difference. And that's what I say, like hearing the difference is one thing, but feeling the difference, man, as a guitar player, very important. So in this day and age, shouldn't we make like single guitar heads? And how cool would it be? Just one amp, no one can buy that amp, only people can buy the plugin, and probably some millionaire will then buy the amp after a couple of years or something. But I think that whole Phil's Cascade thing, and I'll drop a link in the description as well so you know what Phil's Cascade is. But I think that whole thing, that could be something for the, I think that could be something for the whole guitar player or bass player industry. I remember back in the days when I was in board, even like touring, like we did one tour where the tour was sponsored by EV8s, amazing amps, but man, carrying all that stuff and shit, I remember when we switched to the Kemper, just plugging straight to front of house, it was the breeze of my life. And now, with the Quad Cortex, man, this, like, I think I would never ever buy an amp in my life. And this would probably be a fun meme that like 5 years later, Mendel bought a Mesa amp or something. If I would buy an amp, it would either be a Mark V or Mesa Road King 2. But to be honest, no, I don't need any tube amps. Seriously. So let me hear your thoughts, curious about this. Like, are you stacking up tubes, or are you like, I don't have any tube amps and I will never get a tube amp, and especially now with the tube shortage, I will never buy a tube amp. Like seriously, let's discuss this whole topic because it's something to think about. And I think, now I wouldn't say I think, but I rather want it to be the future that, like plugins would be the future, because tube amps, man, it's the ear, not the gear. Anyway, that's it for now. If you like this video, please drop a comment and like the video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe, obviously. That really helps me out. And see you next time, right? Cheers.